Greetings and salutations. Now, I recorded this exact video last night, but something has happened. First off, I also want to say I'm never doing another Grand Theft Auto 5 video on my channel, and it wasn't because of the language. Not at all. I had no issues with the language whatsoever. I think it was unnecessary in the game, to be perfectly honest with you, but I don't have a problem with the language. What I do have a problem with is this game purchased the licensing for the music. I had to go through the entirety of the video through the little AI thing that flagged it for you can't make this content because it's flagged for copyright if it goes up. I had to let the YouTube side of the thing delete the audio track behind it just so that I could upload it without getting copyright strikes. Mind you, this is licensed music in a game, and I'm playing it on a channel where it says gaming in the tag. It's listed as a gaming thing, so shouldn't the licensing music go? Shouldn't there be any issues with this? I guess not. Thanks, Lars Ulrich, for the, DMCA. Anyhow, back to this. Not just this minion, but back to the card review. Something has happened in the last 24 hours. And I'll talk about it when we get to the card, but it's made my blood boil. I'll tell you that right now. We've already seen her. This was a new card that we have not seen on here anyway. If you've paid attention to Hearthstone, you've seen this card. And there's a lot of synergy that can be done with it, with buffing its attack, playing the Imbue. Because it's an undead, you can also Memoriam Manifest. It has charge. You could potentially clear the board, Memoriam Manifest, have him come back, shuffle a whole bunch of blights into the enemy's deck. Now, why this is a thing is because if you look at him, right, he's going to slow down the opponent's draw. Obviously, they're still going to draw after it does casts when drawn with the blight, right? But it's going to slow down the opponent's draw of drawing what they want. Now they're not going to be so apt to play the draw cards at the draw engine in their deck because they don't want to draw the blights, unless they can offset the damage like Priest. I think it's a good card. People also seem to think it's a good card at 3.55. I think it's better than that. I think between the Imbue, the ability to buff it in your hand with Blood Tap, you can run a Rainbow Imbue deck. You could literally just jam this guy out there and be a nuisance. I think it's going to be a good card. It also screws over Pure Paladin, by the way. Pure Paladin can't run Steam Cleaner to get rid of the blights. And so it will put a non-Paladin card in their deck, and it's ruined. This card, I don't know. I don't care for the stat line. 4 mana, 2/7. Yeah, he's an undead. Yeah, you can buff him with the imbue. But he's a 4 mana, 2/7. He doesn't have taunt. That says after it takes damage, summon 2 frail ghouls. Now the frail ghouls are a good corpse generator. Don't get me wrong. Generates a corpse, dies, it has charge. Whoop-de-doo. This though, it only says summon 2. So you'd have to play this with, like, the Elven Archer that does Battlecry ping it for a point. You'd have to find ways to, like, ping it for an individual point each time to get as many ghouls out of it as possible before it just dies. Because nobody's going to trade into this. Nobody. They're either going to use a removal spell on it completely, not Siphon Soul. I think it is Siphon Soul. For the Warlock, it just destroys it. Cease to exist, even though that's random. For all time. They're just going to use an AoE blanket kill. They're going to hex it, too. They're not going to let you have the ghouls. People aren't foolish. They're not going to leave it on board for you. It's an okay card, and I guess in certain situations, maybe you can play it with, what is that card? Soul's Wrath Ceremony. You give it Rush. 1 attack and Rush. Makes it a 5 mana, 3/7 Rush. Gives you 2 frail ghouls. Potentially. Could give you some corpses, I guess? I don't know. It seems weird. It's an okay card. I'm sure it'll find a home, but I don't care for it. This card is just crazy. People aren't liking it, but people aren't seeing the forest through the trees. You can play it on either side. So you can disguise it on the enemy side, or you can play it on your side. Why you'd want to play it on your side, I don't know. Right? It's a 5/1. It's a 1 mana 5/1. You're not going to want it on your side. What this is also going to do is this is also going to mess with Rogue's flashback. Because that summons two one-cost minions. I believe they're one-cost minions on flashback. But this summons two one-cost minions. This could potentially be in their one-cost minions. Not something you want to see when you flash back. Or wait, that says from the past. Never mind. Never mind. So flashback has a standard pool. So you're not going to low roll and get trash. And you're not going to low roll and get this. But Egg Warlock. What does this do? Kind of ruins their whole thing about, death rattling and then playing Umbra to get back the Kelos. Oh, I'm just gonna Umbra and get back Kelos. No, you're not. Yeah, I think it's a good card. People don't seem to think so. I think it's a good card. I think you're gonna see Blight DK played quite a bit. Sawbones. Prepare a battle cry. Destroy all your other minions. Draw a card and refresh a mana crystal for each one destroyed. The problem with it being refresh a mana and not grant a mana crystal, you could say grant a temporary mana crystal for each one destroyed. At which point it's much better because now you can play this for 0 because you prepped it the turn before, you prepped it 2 turns before, you play it for 1. It is a single-sided board clear on your side after you swing, and because you have 7 creatures out there, you could potentially get up to 7 mana crystals back, all other, so 6 mana crystals back. At the very least, you're getting 6 mana crystals back. Yeah, you could kind of swing in with everything or trade with everything, and if your stuff lives, you play this, you're basically refreshing your mana crystals. Do I see a lot of people play, a lot of people seem to like the card at 3.38. I don't see it. I don't see where you're going to want to sacrifice board control, one-sided board control, for mana crystals unless you've got some massive combo. Does this generate a lot of corpses? Sure, yeah, it generates 6 corpses, pretty much right off the rip. But what are you going to do with it? I mean, technically you could play it just as a 6 mana 6/4 without even preparing it. And now you've got a whole boatload of mana crystals. Because you play this, you get the 6 back, it's like you never even spent the mana. But that is assuming you have a full board. I mean, it's a decent statted minion, especially with Prepare. I'd have to see how it plays out in the game. Maybe you could play, the 4 mana taunt minions that you spend 4 corpses, summon 2/2 taunts with Reborn, or summon 2/2 taunts with Reborn, 2/2 taunts with Reborn, or if you spend 4 corpses, give them Reborn. That's what it says. And they generate corpses when they die. So then you could Sawbones out, and then obviously you sacrifice some of your Reborn and get some corpses back, but it seems weird. I don't see what the draw is for this, unless you're playing a full-on Reborn deck, and then your minions come back and you have all the corpses. And then maybe you can play, Soul's Rest and give them all Rush and then trade? I don't know. Blood Clone. Now, I like this card. People seem to not like it. It's kind of low. You discover a 5-cost minion, so that's guaranteed for 3 mana. It goes into your hand as a 5-cost minion. If you have 5 corpses, you can then summon a copy of it, plus the one you have in your hand, so you're getting 2 bodies for 1 cost. For 1 3-mana cost, you're getting 2 bodies. 1 on board and 1 in hand. Especially if you pick a battle cry that's pretty decent among your 5 mana cards. Is it feasible to get 5 corpses before turn 3? Yeah. You play Ants on 1, Ants on 2. If you have the coin, it's Ants on 1, the Morbid whatever Ants on 1, the Morbid whatever Ants on 2, with the coin into a Ghoul, and if you trade, there's 5 corpses right there. You could play it on 3 with perfect hand. But you're still not going to hate it playing it after 3 either. You could play this on 4, you could play this on 5, because if you take a look, you can get Felina. That wouldn't be a bad card to get a battle cry of. Blob of Tar. I mean, you get to discover it too. So there's the potential, and you can also discover Envoy the End, which means if you're playing a Nexia DK, this wedges right into a Nexia DK, could potentially give you Envoy the End. Are there some stinkers? Yeah, there's some stinkers. There's some really bad ones that you don't want, like Sporn Asher. But Finja is pretty bad. Omen of the End is pretty bad. But the rest of these, you kind of want. I mean, even with the Rewind, Get 2 random spells from your class. You wouldn't mind getting an Aeon Wizard in your hand for 3, and then you get the 3/5 on the board. Your best ones obviously would be Blabatar, Thelina, and Ancient of Yore. Especially if you get Ancient of Yore on a Discover, that's the pick with the 5 corpses, because now you're just getting a guy that generates armor, draws you a card, and then you have another one in your hand which generates more armor and draws a card. This is a good card, and I just don't think people are seeing it. That's all. Drink Blood, this card is nuts. This is literally nuts because it refreshes both hero powers. So you could generate a 1/1 ghoul, give it the 3 corpses from Thelina, swing in for a 4/1, play Drink Blood, generate another ghoul, put more corpses on it, swing in for another 4/1. Or if you have the Imbue, play an Undead, it imbues. If you refresh it, does it imbue a second one? Hard telling. But it's a good card. And with Thelina, because it's a 1 red, because it's 1 blood for Thelina, you could play Thelina with the Blight guy. Oh yeah. Emergency Surgery. Choose an enemy minion, summon 3/3/1 undead with lifesteal that attack it. Works just like trees. If the first minion kills the enemy, then the other 2 don't attack. But it gives you 3/1 lifesteals on board, and nobody's gonna leave the lifesteals up. This is essentially pay 5 mana, generate 3 corpses, and potentially attack a target. That's it. And it gives you 5 mana, 9 life. Is it a little slow? Yeah, it's a little slow. But you could see, you could use it. It would work. It would totally work. This card, you are going to see a burn DK deck. Mark my words. With the kobolds that give you spell damage, Deathbringer Thalnos that gives you spell damage, and the Battlecry card that says give a thing in your hand spell damage. Buff this, Rock Skipper, and the just the damage cards that DK has for spell damage. I mean, you can play a whole bunch of spells on spell DK. You could put this in a Frost one, a Rainbow, right? So you get Frost Chiller, and then you can do you can even 2 Frost, 1 Unholy. You could still throw this in here and still pull off everything I was just talking about. Your Rock Skippers, your Bone Flurries, you got your Frost Chiller, you've got Morchi just for extra oomph if you need it. You can make a burn DK deck. 1 Unholy, 2 Frost. I think it's going to be nuts. This card is crazy for 2 mana. There's not a whole lot of like DK board clear. You could also run like one Unholy and maybe run the Sands of Time, potentially get the consumption one that says deal 3 damage to 2 minions, draw 2 cards. Maybe can get an AoE board clear there. Hard to tell. It's a good card though. This, phenomenal card. This right here is just aggro DK all day, any day. Generate corpses on a stick. This is just Corpse Maker. You might even be able to play Tyrax with this. Just saying. Not a whole lot of spend corpses I've noticed in DK, except for the blood one. But you can't run the blood one and this. So it's like, if you're going to run Tyrax, what one are you running? Are you running one that can generate corpses, which is kind of what you need? Because you could just, if you really think about it, you could generate corpses, play this, generate more corpses, and on like turn 4, you could play Corpse Farm and get random 6-cost minion, potentially. It's crazy. Traztath, Soul Parasite. Now, people don't seem to like this. And it's like, if you prepare it and it's down to 0 mana, it has Rush, after you summon a demon, gain its stats. And it shows the demons, right? Potentially you want to hit the high rank demons. You want to hit 9, roughly, because that's where your highest stats are. Potentially 8 costers, because you use 2 of them. I mean, 2 8 costs with this thing costing 0, you can do it. There is some sauce to this, and I do like the card. I don't think it's slow at all, especially with what Demon Hunter's got going on. I don't think it's slow at all, because they've added a lot to this Void Soul package. You'll see in a second. We've already seen Irida Sinseeker. I don't think anybody's going to play this. I really don't. There's way too many control options for turn 4, turn 5. Way too many. You won't get the lifesteal. I mean, just off the top of my head, Siphon Soul ceased to exist. Hex, Sheep's Mask with a ping. Uh, you know, you could just Sheep's Mask and then swing into it, or anything like that. Um, Rogues can just nuke it with spells. You could just backstab into Sinestras for 2 mana. Um, Hunters could just hit it with the Dragon's Roar and then with an Arcane Shot for 2 mana. So everybody's just going to remove the 7 lifesteal. And now you're just taking fatigue. And then they'll just start playing like the Murloc prize vendor and then having it die so that you're just fatiguing. There's no way. Unless people run this with the soul package, they're not going to. Like it's just this card is not going to see much play, and when it does, it'll either be. This is where this card is so polarizing because it's either going to be like A tier, S tier, if you pilot it right, like Discover Mage, or it's going to be absolute scum class. One or the other. I like this card. Most people don't. I mean, you're discovering a card in your deck. Your deck doesn't necessarily have to be empty. It does get the bonus if it is empty, but 3 mana, 2/2 body on board literally fetches a card out of your deck. You can't really go wrong with it. This card is bonkers. This card is bonkers crazy, and the people that rated it 2.5 stars are insane. Spell Demon Hunter. So, Spell Demon Hunter. You're already playing spells. This is a spell. It's not going to change your metagame any. It's 2 damage, can go face, shuffle a random Demon Hunter spell, including this, into its own deck, and if it's outcasted, which it can easily be, do it again. Gives you more spells to play. Gives you more options. Why would they rate it 2.5? Did somebody just have a bad day? Did Spell Demon Hunter run over somebody that day and they just got on here and like downvoted it? Vicious Void Scale. Taunt, Death Rattle, get a Void Soul. There's your Void Soul. Summon a random 1-cost demon, improve your future Void Souls. Now, people are saying that this is Relics. I said this is basically Tentacle Rogue. Okay? Now, I'm sorry, I bumped that again. Now, just because this is a 3-mana 3/4, it is a Naga, so I could just wedge it right into my Naga deck. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Just all of a sudden start summoning demons. It's a Death Rattle, so you can run Umbra. So if you're going to run like the Void Soul package, you can run Umbra and get 2 more Void Souls, if need be. Because you got to remember, you're going to want to play that Prepare card and hold on to a couple of Void Souls. Potentially Deos. No, wait, Deos wouldn't allow both. Yeah, it wouldn't summon more than one, so never mind. You'd want to play the Prepare card and then just jam these down. Void Blast. Deal 3 damage to a minion. If it dies, get a Void Soul. This, okay, Void Soul and this are going to get wedged into every Spell Demon Hunter deck, too. Because then you're just summoning random dirtbag minions. And it's board control. And then, of course, Void Soul. Summon a random 1-cost demon, improve your future Void Souls. So you have 2, 4, 6 if you play the Death Rattle, 8 if you play Umbra. And then there's more if you can generate the spells. Now, this is a shadow spell, so I do want to point that out. This one is a shadow spell, but that one... Oh, this one's also a shadow spell. This puts more shadow spells in the pool for the Shadow Totem run by Priest and Shaman, or can be run by Priest and Shaman. So this can generate you these on the shadow spells. Just keep that in mind. This would also be for Shadowed Informant. You could get these on the random Demon Hunter spell. Capture FNAF Regime, people saw this. This is one of those cards that if you get via Void Soul or via the hold, nobody's gonna hate this. So Eternal Hold, play this for 1. You know, because it's not 0 anymore, but you play it for 1. It's got Taunt. It's a 6/12. All minions cost 2 more. If you're playing Spell Demon Hunter, this is gonna get in your demon pool, so it's gonna be there for Eternal Hold. Other than that, nobody's playing that card. We've already seen that one. There it is. Stardust Scythe. After your hero attacks, get a Void Soul. You can have 2 of these. So that's 6 damage, 2 Void Souls per weapon. And that's assuming you're not playing against a warrior that does the arena. The Stadium Announcer. Stadium Announcer, it's a weapon. It'll generate it. There's also that neutral minion that can also generate a weapon, too. It's a 1-mana neutral minion. 1 mana, 1/2. Dark Bribe. I think this card's actually really good. Most people don't understand this, but there is a card later on that is called Cat Burglar? Rat Burglar? I think it's Rat Burglar. Rat Burglar can be played right after this, so the card you give them, you can just steal it back. You'll see. Staff of Trickery. After your hero attacks, discover a druid card, reduces the cost by the hero's attack. Attack druid's gonna happen. Chef Nethrek. Now, I like this. A lot of people like this. There were some people that were like, oh my god, this is terrible. But think about it. You have Circadiamancer that doesn't see any play. You have Azara's Triumph that sees fringe play. You've got the 2-mana location that basically nobody plays, but it gives a minion O2 and Taunt. Egg Druid kind of runs it, but Egg Druid's not really there. So you have this O2 thing that you can just generate Taunt. And between all that and this whole thing curves out at 3 mana. So, knowing that, you can jam a whole bunch of stuff in for 3 mana, and then Azara's Triumph, and get the cards that you want. Spiteful Chef, summon a 2-cost Taunt minion. If you have a 10 or more mana, summon a 6-cost instead. It's 3 mana, it's great, 3/2, it's a battle cry. And you want to play that on like 5. No big deal. Spider Rider, pretty much every druid is going to run that because it's just stupid. You can't run that in the 1 druid. You can't run that in the Chef Nethrek druid, but you can run it in Attack Druid. After a few attacks, this card goes nutty. So you figure you can use some of the early attack cards to do this, and then you could play this. But with all of the cards that are in the game, you might be able to potentially pull an OTK with attack. But we'll see. Because you have Lethal Recipe, draw 2 minions. If you have 10 or more mana, give them 3/3. So if you could really do it, you can kind of play almost like a spell druid, and then when you Azara's Triumph, the only minions you have are the Azara's Triumph minions. And by turn 5, you're going to be ahead of the enemy, or turn 6, you're going to be ahead of the enemy by 4 mana crystals. Potentially game breaking. We'll have to see how it turns out, but I like this card. I like the whole idea. Again, people don't like this card. You're going to see Rat Burglar with this card. Because you look at the choose 1 effects, there's not that many there, right? You get both effects combined, like Feral Rage, for example. You can even get Noxious Bribe, I think. But no, you can't, because it's not a choose 1. But you can get the rest of these with everything here. This would set everyone's health and attack to 1/1. That's crazy. 4 damage, draw a card for 2. Draw a minion and a spell. 2 damage and summon 2 on ones. This card is nuts. People don't like it because you're giving your opponent a plain copy. But are you? Wait till we get to Rat Burglar. Widow's Bite we've seen with the Widow's Feast and the Widow's Banquet, so you're just getting higher and higher armor and higher attack. So if you think about it, if you have 2 of these in your hand and you're playing Ysera, you could play Bite, Feast, Banquet. That's 6 mana. Bite, Feast, Banquet. You're talking at 4 attack, 2 attack, 1 attack. So that's 7, and 7 is 14. Plus the weapon that you're already wearing. That's 15 damage on 1 swing to face. And that's not assuming anything else. Like that. Or that. Attack Druid is going to be a thing. You could potentially OTK. King of the Underbelly, we've already seen this. So it's going to be like Band Manager. And to be honest with you, I think the smartest thing you could play if you play King of the Underbelly is to get Onara. Because then you could just play Onara, especially if you're playing Companion Hunter. Play Onara. She literally just gives you the win. Because she's playing the next 3 cards completely. So you play it, empty board space, Onara, win the game. That card's nuts. That card's probably going to get nerfed to 7 mana, and it'll still see play. Ratcatcher's kind of nuts too, because it's got the Death Rattle, and you'll see why. I like this card though. I like Spell Hunter. Always have. Sewer Swimmer, prepare. Trigger friendly minions death rattle. Oh, and because it's a death rattle, Umbra. Arcane Tripwire. Crazy. Beast Tripwire. People don't like it. It's 5-cost beast. Wait, let's take a look at the pool. Are you really unhappy getting any of these aside from Alara Shi? You know, you get a 3-4, or you get a 5-3 stealth, taunt, 5-5 taunt, 2-7 rush that gives you a Garishi Stinger. Rush. If a friendly minion dies, you spend corpses, it has reborn. Another taunt. That one's kind of poo. Rush Lifesteal. Taunt. Taunt. It was elusive. Kindred Death Rattle. Stealth. This, if you hit it with a nature spell. I mean, Rush, Kindred. But I mean, they're decent beasts. It's a very small pool. The consistency of high rolling a good card is high. I don't see why this is such a bad card for people. Maybe they're insane. Dig for Freedom. Give a friendly minion death rattle, summon 2 random 4-cost minions. Now, I think this card is okay. It's something you would want to prepare the Gator for. You play your Rat Catcher, you put this on that. Because then it's like, okay, are you really going to want to swing into the Rat Catcher? No. This card is dumb. Whoever designed this card and decided, hey, let's make it a 1-cost, needs to get a Smuggled Shovel upside the head. Because confront the Tolvir. So you play Smuggled Shovel, then another one. Then you play Tolvir and get 2, which now is drawing you 3 spells. Then you play Tolvir again, which now draws you 3 more spells. So nothing like arcane tripwiring to people to death. Guard Dog, Death Rattle. Summon a random 1-cost Death Rattle minion. I don't care for this card. 2 mana, 3-1. Look at the Sinistra for 3 mana, 4-1 that people complained about that has a Death Rattle. And nobody liked it. And it was a great card. People love this, and I think it's a horrible card. It's not that sticky of a minion. You're getting a 1-cost Death Rattle minion. There's not a lot here that you're going to want. That's a dud. That's a dud. That's a dud. That's a dud. That one's good. That one's a dud. Dud. Pretty good. Pretty good. Good. Dud. 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 Why would anybody want this? Unless there's going to be some phenomenal 1-cost, death rattles in the next 2 years. This card, I think, is meh. At best. This card's insane. Summons a 2-1. Battle card, death rattle, draw card. Crazy. Whenever you play a minion with death rattle, give it rush. Not bad, but not the best. I think it's okay. 1 mana, 1-3, you're not really going to care much about it. Yeah, it comes back with Tolvir. Shock. But you could just kill it. It's nothing big. People are rating this card extremely high, and I'm wondering why. Read it. Battle Cry. After you cast a spell this game, summon a random minion of the same cost. He's a 5-5 for 5. So you play him on 5, and then you cast spells after that. On 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Okay. Most games are over by turn 7. Most Discover Mages have their quest complete by turn 7. You'd rather play a Discover card on this over this. Is it a good card for high value mage? Yeah, eventually. What 10 mana cards are they going to be playing though? Aside from Relic of Kings. Oh wait, because that one gets converted to a 1-cost. That's a 1-cost card. There's only one 10-cost card, but they're going to want that reduced, and that's Spellweaver's Brilliance. There's not a whole lot of high-cost cards in the game. Really, there isn't. You take a look at the card pool. Shaladrossel. That's your highest one. Everything else is cheaper. And like, why would you play him on 5 when you can at most play like Code Violet, maybe Anomalize, and Shaladrossel? Like, you'd have to play Khadgar in this mess, and then have him out, and then you Khadgar and play one of these. Maybe if you prepare Code Violet, but then again, the cost would go down. And if the cost goes down, you don't get the 7 cost minion. You get whatever the prepared cost is after you've prepared it. So you'd get a 5 cost minion or a 2 cost minion or something. I don't get it. Your board will be full of just trash minions. I don't see the draw on this. I think this card right here is going to be a big letdown, just like Millhouse Manastorm. But maybe there might be a meme deck that I'm not seeing yet. This is the card that will not see play outside of Discover Mage, and you only do it for a 1-mana Discover. That's it. It's the only reason you play it. There was another use for this card until 24 hours ago. Roughly 24 hours ago. This card, you were able to take 5 damage for each refresh. Potentially 20% chance to take 5 damage on each refresh. Which allowed you to play Spellweaver's Brilliance. Because it's a spell. This is a spell, and it's doing 5 damage. And when you read this, summon a 6/6 dragon, cost 1 less for each damage you dealt with spells this turn. So the Skeleton Key was supposed to give you the 5 damage. It happens twice. You play the Spellweaver's Brilliance over there. You get a 6/6 dragon, potentially on turn 1. Blizzard thought that this was going to be a toxic playstyle, and so instead has now made it so it's no longer able to discount Spellweaver's Brilliance. So you're going to run this card in Discover Mage and literally nowhere else. You might see it as a throw-in auto-include just because it could potentially get you a card that's worthwhile. Meanwhile, I'm going to make a mage deck that's going to draw this card and then just blow itself up. I'm going to name it Cowabunga Mage because it's going to sewer slide. And the whole reason for it is just to prove that when you take away a fun mechanic that is potentially game-altering on turn 1, people are unhappy. How fun's it going to be when a mage just re-rolls himself to the grave? How fun is that for the opponent? For the opponent to just watch re-roll, 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 dead. Not very fun, is it? Shouldn't have done it. And yes, I'm going to make a video on it. And yes, it is going to be a protest video of why this card got nerfed. Pre-nerfed, mind you. But here's the problem. Let's really look at it. You have a 30-card deck. Okay? Your opening hand is 3 cards. If you're going first, 4 cards if you're going second. So, you have a 1 in 30 chance of putting this into your opening hand. Doesn't start in your opening hand. It's not like a quest. You have a 1 in 30 chance of getting it in your opening hand. So 1 in 30 is not high odds. Then you have a 2 in 30 chance or a 1 in 15 chance of getting Spellweaver's Brilliance in your hand at the same time as this. Now, mind you, there is a astronomically low chance you get both of them in your hand. Okay? Now, let's really look at it. There are 43 spells, and more than that, sorry. There's Storm the Gates, there's Welcome Home, and there's Sands of Time. So there's 46 spells in the spell pool. Sorry, 47, because Shaladrossel. 47 spells in the spell pool. Now, if you could assume, without replacing, you get 3 options, and then you get the reroll, without replacing, at 47 spells, at most, you have to refresh 15 times to guarantee, not at least, at most, 15 times to guarantee that you get Spellweaver's Brilliance. And you're going to chance rolling a 20% chance within the 15 times, knowing that you play it happens 6 times, you're dead. Just on the chance to get a spell that you can make a 6/6 dragon on turn 1. Blizzard apparently saw this astronomical number and was like, whoa, can't have that killing the fun in the game. But Rogues being able to guarantee get the coin because of Aya Blackpaw, and then going coin, Foxy Fraud, flashback, and having potentially 9 attack on the board on turn 1, that's fine. That's doable. We're good with that. Okay. So they could potentially have over 9 damage on the board on turn 2. And it's more reliable because there's 2 Foxy Frauds, There's 2 flashbacks. You can prep. You can, and you're guaranteed the coin. You're just guaranteed the coin every time. You're guaranteed to go second. So now you have a 2 in 30 chance, a 1 in 15 chance to get Foxy Fraud, and a 1 in 15 chance to get flashback in your opening hand. And those chances seem to be pretty high. Why? Because you're drawing 4 cards. So now you're not only having 3 cards to work with, you have 4 cards to work with. And your initial draw counts. So you have a 1 in 6 chance of having one of those in your opening hand. You have a 1 in 12 chance, or 1 in 36 chance of having both of them in your opening hand to Foxy Fraud and then play it all out. At least you're getting 5 attack. At most, you're potentially getting almost 10 on turn 1. But the 6/6 Drake being a 6/6 Drake is a problem on the astronomically low chance of a 1 in 60 chance of getting both those cards in your hand. So Blizzard takes away the 1 in 60 and gives you this, and gives you the rogue one, and says the rogue one's fine, but this is toxic. Really, Blizzard? Really? You did the meme, fun detected, fun removed. You took one of the most interesting card interactions that possibly could have existed in Mage and said, you know what? I want to ruin it. And people say, well, it's not very fun to lose on turn 1 because a Mage plays a 6/6 dragon. You know what else isn't fun? Control Priest. Yet here we are. Nobody wants to queue into 40 turn Control Priest, okay? Nobody wants to play a 60-minute game of Hearthstone just to lose to Control Priest. No one. Earlier today, I played against a Sinestro Rogue. I was playing as a Control Priest. 37 minutes later, he copied 2 of my Medivhs, wiped my board twice, still lost. Silence and remove twice. And he still lost. Wasn't even close. I was still at full life. Was it fun for him? No. Was it fun for me? No. It was boring. Because it was literally just past the turn until I had something else to do. But yet, here we are in 2026 Hearthstone playing Control Priest, and that's deemed apparently more fun than a potentially toxic interaction on turn 1. That might happen 1 in a million games. Brilliant. Brilliant, Blizzard. Of all the bonehead maneuvers you could have done, that, removing that interaction, is the worst. Otherwise, I mean, you're just going to see it because it discovers a spell. That's it. This could potentially be good. I mean, the pool of 8 cost minions isn't bad. Your worst 8 cost minion is maybe Togwaggle, or Clocksworth's pretty bad. But that's it. I mean, like, you don't care if you get any of these other minions. There's just stats on board. Right? And this one generates even more stats on board. This one summons you another minion. Same way with this one. So, it's not bad. Code Violet's not a bad card. But the 3 other spells beforehand is kind of nasty. This, if you prepare it and you get to that point, you can prepare it and get it down in mana. You can potentially Khadgar, and then you're getting 2 of them. And if you play 3 spells and then Khadgar and then this, you can see where you're getting 4 minions. You can really see where it goes crazy. Discover Mage is still better, but it's a pretty good card. Trixie Improverizer, prepare a battle cry. If you cast a spell this turn, cast Random Mage Secret. There's only 5. 6. Nobody plays it. Barely anybody plays it. Nobody plays it. Maybe you might run into one person playing it. Nobody plays it. That's trash. Because that works with Rush. It just doesn't say whenever an enemy attacks you, just whenever an enemy attacks. So it's kind of poo. So unless they get more secrets, this is poo. This is just going to end up in every Discover Mage. You finish your quest, you play this, discover a spell, 5 or more, cast twice when it's played. Which means the other 2 would then cast twice when they're played. Which would be automatically played because of the Origin Stone. This card is going to be gross. This card is probably going to get nerfed. Or the interaction will get nerfed. At least that's how it reads. Now they might take that away too, because, you know, they've already taken away the skeleton key. Bootleg Alchemist, 3/3 Battlecry. Choose a card in your hand, transform it into a spell that costs 5 more, keeps its original cost. Maybe with Millhouse. But then again, you're playing Millhouse on 5. You'd have to play this guy on 6. Transform a cheap spell into a more expensive spell, and then get a trash minion from the more expensive spell. And the spell is at random. As you can see, the card pool is literally everything. So, yikes. As I already talked about, that's kind of poo. It's good if you randomly generate it, but it's kind of poo. I mean, they attack with a rush minion, and it's a 1/1. Spire Security Battlecry. Reveal a spell in your deck. If it costs 5 or more, deal 5 damage split among all enemy minions. Split among enemy minions. I think this is poo. People are rating it high, but come on. You have to get a 5 or more spell that's in your deck. And you have to generate it. How many cost 5 or more in Mage? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 spells. If you're running all of them, sure, you have a 1 and 3. But you're not running all of those. Nobody is. So this, doing you 5 damage, whoop-de-doo, right? For a 3 mana. You might be able to high roll if you're running like a couple of these spells. You could potentially high roll, but you're paying for a 3 mana 3/4 on board. That's not that impressive. This card, good. It's just good. Because then you get 3 arcane missiles right there. You could just jam them out. Whatever. This card is amazing. Because it'll just generate you value. Plain and simple. Good card. Really good card. And it freezes an enemy. This card. Now, Pure Paladin will see play because it's got some really gross outliers. But this card, I think, is too slow at 9. I think at 7 mana, you might see some play with it, but at 9, I think it's way too slow. Way too slow. Because you're either already ahead on the game, or you're so far behind that this 9 mana 5/5 is not going to do anything. Because it just says destroy. Now, if it said silence and destroy, you might be talking about something. But it just says destroy. So, let's say you're playing against DK. Well, I'm just going to Memoriam Manifest my Anexia. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back. I'm playing against Shaman. I'll just play Marithra and I get all the 8 costs that I played back. I'm playing against DK, or I'm playing against Demon Hunter. He's just going to nuke me from hand with spells before turn 9. Especially if he has the Eternal Hold, I'm just dead on 6. Or dead on 8. So I don't even get to see Vama Looming Death. I just don't see it. I think this card's going to get buffed because this card is weak. Commander Beatrix. This card is nuts. This card is nuts. When building your deck, pick a 2-cost minion, 10 copies, join your deck. Now you could put in any one of these cards. They're all 2-mana cards. You could run Bitterbloom and get a whole bunch of stuff. You could run Bloodsail, Raiders. Whatever you want. Fireball Paladin will be a thing. I'm making a Fireball gimmick Paladin. I don't care if I have to craft Beatrix. I am making a Fireball gimmick Paladin. I'm going to meme on people. This would be a nuts one to have, because if you think about it, that's 10 damage on your recruits. 10. It's crazy. And they're rush minions, so you can just trade real quick. Got your Dirty Rats. You've got your Battlecry temporary spells. That wouldn't be a bad one either. Grime Street Outfitter. That'd be crazy because it's hand buff. You could also run Grime Street Outfitter with another one. This one would just be toxic. This is just a toxic play. 10 Hardlight Protectors. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to restore 3 health and get my Hero Divine Shield. I'm just going to play a Paladin for fatigue. LOL. Stupid. Same way with this. Stupid. Same way with this. Mill Paladin. There's many options to troll with this card. There's many options to troll with this card. Just saying. Rock Skippers. You could generate a whole bunch of rocks. Imagine generating 10 Rock Skippers. You play them all. You got a handful of rocks. And then you just kobold and just... I just start pegging people with a thing. I just start throwing rocks, man. Crazy. Maev. That could get dirty. But, yeah. Beatrix is kind of fun. I mean, I can't wait to see the fun that people get up to with this card. This card's going to be just an absolute chuckle bucket. It's going to be fun. This card, I don't think people are seeing the vision. Let me set the stage for you. Turn 5, you prepare this. It now costs 0. You have minions on the board. You just played it regular, kind of like whatever, turn 5, right? You draw yourself the Hand of Infinity. You draw yourself the Pirate. The Blood Cell Pirate. It says Infinite 3. Your minions now become Infinite 3s. All minions become Infinite 3s. If they don't have any taunt minions, they just lose the game. Right there. Yeah, not bad. They didn't think it through, but typical Blizzard. They didn't think it through. Beatrix, Dalaran Champion, Grime Street Outfitter. Play a Grime Street, gives it 5, makes it a 5/5. Play another 7/7. Play another 8/8 or 9/9, 11/11. Just dumping cards out there. The 2-mana location makes it a 6/6 for 4. This card is nuts. This card is completely nuts. You'll see it in Pure Paladin. It is absolutely bonkers crazy. Whoever designed this card needs to stop doing a lot of heavy drugs. Remember the Archmage I told you about? Yeah. Beatrix. Archmage. Archmage Paladin. It's going to be a thing. You watch. Archmage Paladin. Telling you, it's going to be a thing. Pure Paladin. How long can this go on? Remember that battle cry minion from ages ago? How long can this go on? Yes, it is going to go on a long time. Trash. Now, I will say one thing. I will say one caveat. Arena Gladiator. The arena announcer could potentially generate this for a weapon. Just saying. Warriors can generate this, and it's a 3/3, which would actually be a 4/4 for the warrior. Not a bad card if it gets generated off a stadium announcer. Okay? So it's good if it generates off stadium announcer, but it's poo otherwise. Again. Beatrix Paladin. Telling you. That one's okay. Azalina Soul Sever. Now, people were complaining about Beatrix because they said they were looking at it like they thought the deck was going to be 10 cards reduced, and then you have 10 copies of one card in the deck, but they said no, it expands your deck by 10 cards. Let me kind of explain something. And I said this on Twitter, and I put up a GIF. If you've ever seen the movie Goonies, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, they complained about Beatrix. And I said, meanwhile, Azalina Priest over here being like, hey, you guys! Because that's exactly what it is. You're getting a mishmash of 20 cards from your opponent. Now, if you're queuing in against Beatrix Paladin, you're going to potentially get copies of the 10 copies that they got. If you're queuing in against Demon Hunter, you might get some stuff there. If you're queuing in against Hogger Warrior, forget it. You might as well just nail your feet to the floor. You're going to be there an hour because you're going to potentially get tons of legendaries, especially if the warrior decides to make a deck that's nearly all legendary. So this is a double-edged sword. This card is going to be absolutely poo until probably next year. I like it. I like the idea of Azalina, but I think it's going to be poo until next year when a lot of the stuff rotates. Kara of the Broken. I like this. There's a reason I like this. 3 1/1 copies of random legendary minions that cost 1. There is no downside to this. You're playing a 6/6 Death Rattle. You're getting copies. There's a lot of strong legendary cards out there. A lot of them. There's a couple stinkers, don't get me wrong. Minions. So you're not getting locations. You're not going to get a Deathwing, but you could potentially get any other legendary card. You could generate Alakir. Not that it's going to generate anything good because you don't have Herald. You could generate anything, though. And that's huge. Especially when you factor in other things. I'll get to that in a second. Unshackle Soul, I like this card a lot. That card I think is okay. Reduce the cost of your cards that were copied from your opponent. It's alright. This is crazy. Taunt, Death Rattle, restores 6 health to your hero, summon a random 6 cost. Nuts. That one's alright. This card, right here, trigger the death rattle of a random friendly minion that died this game. You could then come over here and get his death rattle after he dies. You could play Calia and he comes back. You could play Umbra. You're just getting a whole bunch of 1/1 legendary minions that can be good. Or you could just use Undeath Sentence as a shadow spell, and you can proc the death rattle of Solitos. If it died. And then play Umbra, and then just machine gun them for Solitos damage. Beautiful. This card's okay. Even with the prepare, it's okay. That card's crazy. That card should be a 5-star card. 2 mana, 4 health, gives you a spell, and it's a holy spell, and it goes to a shadow spell. It's disgusting. Completely disgusting. Yeah. Card's kind of poo, not gonna lie. 2 mana, 2/6 can attack. It's got taunt. Yeah, people will trade, but really? Now, when it comes to Aya, yes, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage going second. But the Grimy Coin is giving the rogue what it needs, which is reliable AoE board clear. People are going to play this coin probably the most. Then it's going to be this coin, probably the second most. And only the people that have no idea what they're doing are going to play the Jade one. Because let's really suss it out here. You play Aya, okay? Now your counterfeit coins get replaced this game. Perfectly fine. Next turn, if Aya is still alive, which she may or may not be, doesn't matter, you then play Admiral Hooktail. You could potentially have 1 or 2 board spots that are taken up, okay? You then play the 2 mana Garona spell that kills a legendary minion. You kill the chest on the other side that's an 8 health chest that's legendary, and you get a handful of coins. And then you proceed to play a whole bunch of Jades. At most, you're getting a 7/7 Jade. And now you have 7 mana, but you can't do anything with it. Because this generates a mana crystal. So you have 7 mana, but you can't do anything with it. And you have a 7/7 Jade. And then a 6/6 Jade. That don't have taunt. People are just going to walk right up and go, boink, right into your face, and then you're just dead. Because you have to, mind you have to wait until at least turn 6 to Battlecry her and get your coins. Okay? Because you have to Battlecry it to replace your coin. So everybody's just going to pick the Grimy coin or the Cabal coin. Nobody's going to pick the Jade one. The Jades just do not give you enough presence on board. It's just not worth it. That's just me. Slice and dice. As if Burn Rogue wasn't bad enough. Prep, Sinestra, Prep, Sinestra. You could do this on 7, by the way. This could be turn 7. Prep, Sinestra, Rock, Slice and Dice. With a board full of stealthed minions and even the prepared kobolds. So you can prepare the kobolds. They're 0 cost. You've already got out your stealth minions. There's 3 3s. You don't attack with them. There's 4 spell power on the board, and then you just prep Herald, Rock Nuke. Because now you're talking. That's 4 spell power on top of the 3. That's 7, 14, 28. Play that. Everybody's dead. It's a good card. It's just crazy. It's a crazy good card. That's okay. But nobody's gonna play it. Nobody's gonna play it. You might see 1 or 2 people gimmick this out with like the Eye of Black Paw and the Grimy Coins, but not many. Because there's no way to give it stealth, no way to give it rush, no way to give it charge. It's just not good. Because they'll just kill it. 3 costs, get 2 random 8 cost minions. They cost 1 less for each card you played for 2 mana this game. Shows you the 8 cost, but it doesn't show you the 2 cost cards. You might have 2's Company Rogue, which where they play just 2, 2, 2, 2, a whole bunch of 2 stuff, and then just blow everybody up with this. Shoot 1 random enemy for 2 damage. Play cards for 2 mana while holding to shoot more. So you could potentially get this in your hand, play a whole bunch of 2 cost stuff, just blow everything up. Nab, deal 3 damage to a minion if it dies. Shuffle a copy of it to your deck that costs 2. That's just going to see play in every deck. You'll see it played in a Sinestro Rogue because you could just kill off the enemy's Herald minion. Goes into your deck that costs 2. You could kill off your own Sinestro. Goes into your deck, costs 2. That card's going to be in almost every deck. Guaranteed. Picklock. Again, 2 mana. Blow everything up. And it's with remaining mana, so you can play around it and then get down to 2 mana. Play it. You just got that shooter guy. You hold on to 1 coin. Play it. It's 2 mana. You see what I'm getting at? There's your coin. We've already seen Muggsy and Tiny Pal. This card's okay. We've already seen it. It's an alright card. That card's crazy. Everybody thinks it's poo, but it's crazy. That card's pretty good. That card's amazing. You're freezing an enemy, drawing 2 cards. Insane. That's nuts. To overload your enemy on like turn 9 and restrict board space and everything by playing it on their side, crazy. This is a good card too, but we've already seen these. That card's going to be insane. Kalashio Goon, it's going to be okay. You might see Battlecry Shaman come out. Maybe. This card's poo. Nobody's going to run this card. If they do, they're not going to prepare it. They're not going to play it that way. They're just going to summon it from their deck with, like, Willow or whatever. Archwitch Willow. And they're going to just summon him from the deck. But I doubt it. That card's nuts. That card's nuts. That card's going in my Torture Warlock deck. Poo. Crazy card. It's really good. This one's really good too. It's kind of like the old it's the Godfrey one that said it was like, oh, it's Godfrey's old artwork, kinda. And it functions just like Godfrey did. Where it was like do 2 damage, and if a minion dies, cast another. But Godfrey used to cascade all the time. It's nuts. That card's crazy. It's alright. That card's crazy too. You're making a minion go dormant for 2 turns, and if it's a friendly demon, you give it 3/3 instead. This harkens way back to like Demon Fire, where it's like do damage to an enemy, or if it's a demon, give it extra stats. Same thing. Same thing. Beautiful card. Love it for 2 mana. Hogger is gonna be a great card. I hate to be that guy. Just is. This card is gonna be toxic. Because now you have to think about it. You have all this stuff in the deck, right? You get 2 of these. If 3 characters take damage on one of your turns, summon this from your hand or deck. If you have one of these in your hand and one of them in your deck, 2 3/3 charges now hit the board. You have 2 3/3 charges, they've now hit the tower, right? You have the 2 1-mana locations. They're now 5/2s. That's 10 damage. You can potentially have this. If you have this on the board, 3 mana 1/6, it's pretty sticky. You can head right into the other thing. The warp chargers. Those things will be like 6/3s, 6/2s. Oh look, you can now proc the warp people. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a sticky minion. I'm gonna draw both my warp tooths. Yeah. So now there's 7. So now there's 5/4s before they hit the board, before the other rioter before the 1-mana locations. Just throw that out there. Yeah. If you're not seeing the OTK coming, you will. I still think this card is pretty good. You'll see when I go to rack. This one right here is gonna be kind of fun, especially if you have a low curve deck. You empty your hand, play this, then it gives you just steal cards from the opponent. It's kind of fun. He might see some play. He might see some play even more after the next couple of expansions because they used to have King Togwaggle and everybody thought he was poo, and then they made Togwaggle as a Lena Druid. Just saying. We already know how good she is. This card's going to be crazy. This card is going to be nuts. Zermatt's Prison is going to go absolutely bananas. She's going to make her way into every single aggro deck. He's going to make his way into Aya Rogue. Pretty much guaranteed Aya Rogue. Now, you could see him played in some other decks, especially because he's a Murloc. You could see him played in maybe Murloc Paladin. But I really don't see that Murloc Paladin being played. Because, again, you have to take a look at... It looks at the enemy hand, which means you have to take a look at what they have and then guess which one they're going to play next turn. So it's kind of like the rock, paper, scissors card, Pro Gamer, but it's more intuitive than that. Because it says it investigates a card in the enemy hand. I don't know if it's going to show you 3 options, 4 options, whatever. But if it shows you cards that they could potentially play next turn, yeah. You can also bait that out, too. You play him, you play something else that needs to be killed, they're going to kill it with the card you pick. So you might see some actual play on this. You might see some fringe play here and there, but it'll pretty much make its way into Aya Rogue. Guaranteed. Miracle Rogue. This card is probably going to go crazy. Because you could prepare it, and then just basically nuke everybody down. You're going to have Miracle Cycle Rogue, because, like I said, you can play Hooktail, kill it, play up, use all your coins, prepare him, next turn, Aya, what have you, extra coins. I want to see how that one works. I really do. 6-mana demon, Death Rattle deals 3 damage to all other characters, also triggers in hand or deck. I really want to see how that works. I'll play 2 of them, kill them off, play Umbra. Yeah. That's going to be in every Shaman deck, Mug or Z. Just you draw minions, the Z one. It'll be in every Z Shaman. Because you're gonna guarantee they're gonna be both minions. Unless you're running a location. And if they're both minions, gain charge. Then it'll be a 5/2 with charge. There's Rat Burglar, 4 mana. So now those deal cards don't look so bad. The Toxic Bribe, the coin one, none of them look bad. At the end of your turn, steal all cards that entered your opponent's hand during your turn. So now I play the Bribe card from Druid for 2 mana. I get a copy of the Druid card, and then I play the Rat Burglar and get the other copy. Sure. The Bribe cards seem pretty good now. Archmage Paladin, gonna do it. Just the Jailbird's okay. It's a taunt minion, it's a taunt beast. You can't really go wrong with it. Even if you prepare something else while holding it, you can get it for free. It's not bad. It's just a solid 3/4 taunt. That's gonna also make it into my Torture Warlock deck. That card's great. Because you could just play this on either side and you could destroy a random adjacent minion. So if you position it just right, you can really cause a lot of harm. Quest Warlock support. I'm just saying. That one I don't quite get yet. I mean, I get it. Survive attacks and survives. Draw a card. Escape the game. Seems a little weird. I guess because it's not a death rattle and it won't revive. Maybe revive priest in the future, and this would be a key card for revive priest. Don't know. Not a bad minion. Especially if you're playing companion hunter, you can get that and it'd be pretty good. Kind of poo. I mean, it's not a bad minion. 6 mana, 4/6 taunt, death rattle, deal 2 damage to all enemies. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest. It costs 2 if there are no minions on the battlefield. So 2 mana, 5/3. Nobody's playing that. Now, hear me out. Storm the Gates. It is an undead. Victor Nefarious. It's also an undead. You play him. You pick him, and you pick a dragon. You clear the board. Now it's a 2 mana massive minion. Just saying. Activate a golem at the end of each turn. Gain Reborn. Not bad. It's an infinite corpse generator. Nearly infinite. Reckless Detective. Rush. Death Rattle. Get Detective's Clothes. Get 4/4 Rush. Not bad. This card is a lot better when you realize you could play this in that Druid deck. The 3 mana or less Druid deck. Battlecry, choose an enemy minion, steal its bonus effects, and gain 1/1 for each stolen. Pickpocket, we've seen. That card's going to be crazy. With the weapons now. Because it says get a random weapon. It's going to be nuts. And that card's poo. And it's just back to the new cards again. Which she'll be played in that Druid deck as well. Prepare, because she only costs 3, so Commissary Crook's making a way right into that Chef Nethric deck. But that's it. Well, those are all the new cards. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it, aside from that little rant about the skeleton key, because I think Blizzard was removing one of the most interesting interactions potentially seen in Hearthstone in a good long time. And they were like, we can't have that, and just pull the plug. So that's kind of stupid. I can't believe they hate this card so much. And you can see Priest wasn't well liked. Shaman's not well liked either. Warlock's not well liked. The most liked class right now is, I think, Druid at 4.0. Nope, Hunter at 4.0. Druid at 3.8. And the lowest class is Demon Hunter at 3. But that's it. That's all the cards. And I had to redo this because that one little piece of information changed in 24 hours. Hopefully they don't change it again. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to this set. And I will open all the packs on stream, or not on stream. I will open all the packs on video. And then in the next expansion, I'm going to try to double up my earned packs through the, what's it called there? Drops. Yeah, the Twitch drops, and then of course there's YouTube things that you link your account to it, and you could potentially do that. But that's what I'm going to be doing in the next one. So I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow. I am sorry that this took so long, and as always, have a good one.